Look at him. Just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns from hearing horror stories. Get the.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take or Wide. This is episode 267. Happy Monday. It's Monday, and I hope your weekend was awesome. I saw that new Endgame movie. Fuck. But yeah, it was a good weekend for me. I hope it's a good weekend for you guys too. I hope this is a good way to start the weekend. I'm excited about this episode. It's I know I do this usually after the sponsors, but it's with Dan from Indian Handcrafts, and we played with them at the Broken Chord Fest, Aprilis Fest. I'm probably saying that wrong, but a couple weekends ago, and really hit it off with the guy, man, right off the bat, like smiles. And I think I opened up the episode by talking about just their demeanor, you know, that they're dudes that have kind of seen some highs and lows, and I feel like they're regarded as I can't say a big band, but just people hold them in high esteem. So, you know, it wasn't a big fest. It was a decent-sized venue. It was a great show, but yeah, they came in all smiles, happy to play, very friendly, really cool guys, man. And this episode was really indicative of Dan, just laughing and, yeah, fuck, like, kind of guy you probably want to hang out with. But yeah, every episode starts with sponsors. These people help me get the episodes out to you. So if you can follow them on Instagram and comment or buy their stuff or like their Facebook page, simple things that help them. It's an awareness thing that you're gonna hear what they're selling, but that extra little step helps. You know, it helps on my end because it shows like, yeah, I have people who listen who can be engaged. You know, you don't have to buy shit, but just even a like or a follow is a big deal. So I'll get into it. I'll try to rip these quickly, but not too quickly, so you guys don't get the point of what I'm trying to say. Let me say the first one here. It's Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. If you have a dog and you love your dog, buy him or her some treats. These people, I met with them a couple months ago, and it's really cool what they're doing. So basically, they're called Brewed Biscuits because so quickly when you make beer, you need to make wort, and wort is like the sugar water. So it's the oats and barley that are steeped in hot water. It helps to remove the sugar. And the leftover, the quote-unquote spent grains, this is what they use to make these treats. They're like 20% protein, 70% dietary fiber. They're good for old dogs, pups. They're slow-baked in a commercial kitchen. They don't have any alcohol or hops or corn or sugar, salts or additives or preservatives. All natural, no meat. And Ocho loves them. They have the peanut butter, the pumpkin sweet potato, and they have apple cinnamon. And they're just hustling, trying to make a cool thing for dogs. So it's super cool that they're on with me. It's they're from the Norfolk County, and if you go to twospentgrains.ca, that's TWO, spentgrains.ca, you can order some for yourself. I had a giveaway a couple weeks ago. I'll probably have another one coming up soon. But yeah, follow them on Instagram. You can find them there. So next, I have Heartbeat Hot Sauce. If you go to heartbeathotsauce.com, you can find where to buy some hot sauce locally. These guys are across Canada. If you follow them on Instagram, they recently just made a post of the cities that have them. If it's not in your city, you can order it. And if you're in Cambridge, I actually have some bottles. But Heartbeat Hot Sauce is a delicious hot sauce. It's not blow your ass out hot. It's not like just hot to be hot. It's delicious. It's actually hot. The peppers are fermented. They use traditional methods before they're cooked with a few simple, high-quality ingredients. There's no water added or thickening agents or chemical preservatives of any kind. And it's a supernatural sauce. And it's delicious hot sauce. So fucking good. The red habanero is so good. It lasts me about a week. A bottle lasts me. It's delicious. If you guys haven't tried it, please try it. Go to heartbeathotsauce.com. Grab it. They were also featured on season 6 of Hot Ones, which is fantastic. Millions of people fucking saw that, and some high-profile celebs ate the sauce, which is cool. So next I have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. If you're looking for a car salesman you can trust my good friend Kevin Rigo. He's at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener, Ontario. Hefner Toyota. It's mentioned the show and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. It's daunting to invest that much money in a new car, and Rigo is as legit as it gets, man, and hilarious fucking guy and an old friend of mine. So it'd be super cool if any of you are looking, or your auntie or uncle or anyone you know, shoot them over to Rigo. Why not? Find them on Facebook as well. We also have Ironclad Graphics. They're a screen printing shop in Kingston, and they specialize in apparel printing. They did my Taker Wide shirts. They've done a ton of my band shirts. They've been in the business for 10, 15 years. Competitive with their pricing. They ship coast to coast, and they can handle everything, anything, man. They go to their site, ironcladgraphics.com, and take a look and see what you can order. Couple more here. We have Dapper Beard Oil. It's a 100% natural ingredient beard oil from Ottawa. It's all ethically sourced. It helps hydrate and repair your beard. It's antibacterial. It reduces beard dandruff. He's got the 3 brands. He has the Gold Tusk, the Black Tusk #2, and the Scent Free. And he's seen press in GQ and Huffington Post, CBC, Ottawa Citizen. It's a really good beard oil. It's curated really well. Andrew, the guy who runs it, he's truly an artist. He really is. He's a photographer. He's a bass player. And he has a creative eye. And I think even how he runs his business is creative. The packaging, everything about it is so spot on. And it's small business. So if you want to support that, go to dapperbeardoil.com, and you can use the promo code TakerWide free ship and save on shipping. Don't pay for the shipping, just pay for the beard oil and try it out. What else? Yeah, fucking do it. Wellington Brewery is the last one here. Wellington Brewery is Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery. They craft award-winning beers in small batches using the freshest all-natural ingredients, and it's dope as hell that they're on board with me. I've been sipping on the Hell's Lager. I might have had an Upside IPA for this one. They just have delicious, delicious beers, and eternally grateful to them for sponsoring the show. And that's it. So like I said in the intro, this is with Dan from Indian Handcrafts. It was a really great conversation, and this is it. 267 with Dan. Where are you at? The hall?
No, I'm at in my basement.
Ooh, that's a nice basement,
I'm in
man.
my basement.
Jeez. Can you see
fun stuff?
Can you see the red hives I have happening right now?
Kinda. Yeah. What's that from?
My wife made shrimp hamburgers, and I guess I have a slight reaction to fucking shrimp.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wait. There.
Oh man, Blessing Rip. That's a cool shirt.
Yeah, dude. Really good dudes.
Mm-hmm. So cool. Thanks for doing this, man. How was your day?
Good. Yourself?
Yeah, it was good. Oh.
Been a good.
What's up? Say hi. So this is my son. This is Mateo. I don't think he can hear you, Tay, because I got the headphones on.
Oh, it's wave.
Okay, now I can hear him. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, cool pajamas, man. Looking
Can you
good.
hear him?
Where are you right now?
I'm in my basement.
Why do you have 100 of drums?
Oh, we record down here, so we have a bunch of drums.
Can you say goodnight?
Hi.
Hi. You going to bed?
Okay, say goodnight. You want to say goodnight to Dan? Yeah, you can hear you. Just say it. Okay. I gotta record this, bro. Okay, now you say goodnight.
Night.
Good night, buddy.
Night.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Cool. Hey, Tay, can you close the door, please? Anyways.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome, dude.
Real fucking dad vibes, man. Jeez.
Yeah, mine's upstairs sleeping right now, and the other two are with mom.
Oh, yeah. The newest one, right?
Yeah.
7 months? Man.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. But yeah, how was your week, man? How was your Sunday, Easter Sunday?
It was good, man. Yeah, we went down to the folks' house and stuff like that. Kind of hung around, passed the baby around a bunch, making sure no one's trying to feed her food that she's not ready for yet.
Fuck yeah. That's trying to be cute. Like, yeah, give her a steak. Like, it'll be a funny picture.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck,
You're like,
man.
no, she'll choke. She can't chew. She doesn't have teeth.
Yeah. Awesome, man. You know, I was looking forward to this, certain times you meet people, and it was just so easy with you guys. You guys were so like friendly, and there's like the band Indian Handcrafts. Like you guys have done stuff, and it's a name that gets thrown around. Like, oh, they're a busy band, and they could be just super jaded guys. But you
Really?
guys, that's the like when I think of bands that keep busy, it's like
Right.
okay, I hope they're not jaded, but if they are, like I kind of get it. But you guys are
Yeah, I
rad,
don't
man.
know.
You're not like jaded old band guys. You guys like are still having fun.
I like playing. Fans of music, you know?
Fuck, man. Yeah,
That's it.
lifelong.
And other musicians. It's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. When did you because you're older than me, but like did you grow up in Barrie or what's like I'm kind of curious the backstory.
So I grew up in, well, I was born down in like Newmarket, lived in Bradford for a while, Innisfil by the time I was 8, which is just south of here.
Mhm.
And then kind of between there and Barrie until I was, early 20s, I guess. And then I've been here ever since.
Yeah, yeah. When did you start? Was it like a cool uncle that's like, check this record out? Because people do different things, right? Some people end
Right.
up like a mechanic and they love cars, but you love music. So who was it?
Yeah. So there was a couple things. So I guess the first thing was seeing Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park on TV when I was like 5. So like that pretty much solidified everything right there.
What do you
And then
what do you remember? Like, was it just like late night? You were by yourself and it was on, or someone put it on for you, or?
It was a TV movie they had on, and I guess they were playing it. I was 5, so it must have been an 81 and around there. And I saw it on the TV. And as a kid, you're familiar with clowns and what clowns look like, and you know what superheroes are, and they have powers in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also played music.
So
So I
just
was
like hit all the boxes, like.
easy. Yeah, I was a sucker for them, still am. So that got me in hook, line, and sinker. And then the Mickey Mouse records came off,
Oh,
and then
shit.
next thing you know, I started getting like Kiss albums, Kiss posters. So I was all just Kiss A-Team, Kiss A-Team.
Like, so you're like how old? Like 8, 9. Like your parents, you're like, buy me this Kiss thing, and they just buy you this stuff.
Yeah, they would just bring me home. They did support it, and then yeah, that was it until I saw them. I saw their last tour with Makeup when I was 8. It would have been like 83 at Maple Leaf Gardens.
That just fucking blow your mind. Was that
Oh,
your
yeah,
first
big
gig?
time.
Like,
That was my first concert. Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, so that just that changed everything, and then it was still
Yeah.
kind of the glam era, so I kind of fell into those bands because they were around. But prior to that, most of the music I got into was just Kiss looked cool, and they had cool album covers.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it was like you would root through records, and then all the best albums back then had the best covers. So it was like Crime of the Century by Supertramp, Black Sabbath, Zeppelin Zeppelin 4, anything that looked cool, Heart.
Yeah, yeah.
All that 70s, Alice Cooper.
Were your parents like music lovers too? Like, did they have records in the house too?
Yeah, my mom was into music, not like super into music, but she liked it. It was around.
Like she had records and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then I lived with my grandparents a lot too, and my grandfather was a big like audiophile kind of guy. He had like reel to reels and
Oh wow.
all sorts of stuff, but he was all into like Jim Reeves and country stuff,
Okay.
Charlie Pride and
Okay.
all that.
Do you
all
have
that
siblings?
70s country.
Do you have siblings too?
Yeah, so I've got 2 older siblings, and then I have 3 younger siblings.
Wow. Okay.
But they're all like step siblings. My
Okay.
dad, he planted a lot of seeds.
Man, I have a brother who's 3 weeks younger than me. So
No way.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow, dude.
that's a crazy story. My mom. Yeah, it's a different story. I could just another thing.
That's amazing. I've got an older sister that I just met for the first time like 5 years ago.
Wow. I feel like I could still meet some siblings. I think
Yeah, it's possible.
maybe. But what like were you the only one that kind of like the bug hit musically, or like did you grow up like and play music with your siblings or anything?
No, I didn't play music with them or anything really. As I got older, say mid-20s, my younger brother, he ended up getting into music as well. And then him and I started a band together. I had been in a couple bands, and then we decided to do something together. he was into it for a while. He was a really, really good guitar player, stuff like that. But then he just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of wasn't really into doing it so much anymore, as much. And then that was the disintegration of that.
What was your first band called?
We were originally called, original band would have been Doris Day, like where I was like doing the songwriting and stuff like that. Then we turned into a band named Foxjaws.
Foxjaws?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we played around.
How old are you, like, at that time, like, doing this stuff?
28, 29, 30.
Okay.
Something like that.
Now, like,
And then-
go ahead.
I was going to say, prior to that, I was in a couple other bands too, but kind of like, that was like my beginning bands. I was playing with other people who were experienced, and I was just kind of coming into it.
So
You know?
when do you get like a guitar? Like, was that your primary thing, or some people start with drums and bounce around?
Yeah, so I started with guitar when I was 11, and it was because I wanted a guitar because there was a guy who lived a street behind me who still plays guitar to this day in like cover bands and stuff around. He was an older kid.
Cool.
And I remember driving by his house on my BMX and hearing somebody playing "Shout at the Devil" on their guitar, and me going, "I want to do that too." So I wanted a guitar, and then I got the guitar, and then I got signed up for music lessons, and I wasn't learning any Motley Crue or anything like that. So I said, "This stinks." So I quit, and then I started playing drums. So then, I was just playing along to like AC/DC, and then I wanted to be Tommy Lee basically for a while. And then rap happened, and then I was just like, screw that stuff.
And then you got heavy into rap.
I was big into rap.
Oh,
I had the notched eyebrows,
Oh,
the flat
sick.
top, and the whole deal.
No way.
Brutal, yeah.
Can I use one of those pictures for like this picture episode? Like when I put like new episode, and it'll be like an 80s like hip hop den.
I've got one of my old picture with my hair like that, but then I superimposed my face now onto it. It's the worst.
Oh man, I feel like we were lucky where a lot of our shenanigans as younger people didn't just make it online forever. You know, like we actually have to literally scan an old photo. Do you remember your first guitar? What it was and how you got it?
Yeah, it was a silver tone. It was from my grandparents, and it just kind of looked like a cream-colored Telecaster with a white pickguard.
Okay, do you still have it?
No, long gone.
They just sold it at some point when you were.
I
knows?
don't know. They must have gotten rid of it, or just hey, he's never going to play this thing, or
So,
ditch it.
Do you remember your first gig? Like even covers, like
So first actual gig probably would have been in high school doing a couple like acoustic Alice in Chains covers.
Just by yourself?
Myself and two other friends of mine.
High school.
Whatever.
No, it
was all right.
That's like it's like a first kiss, man. It's like a really important moment in your life, a first gig.
Oh yeah.
No matter what it is, like the nerves and you remember. Fuck, I'm sure you remember that day. Was it a battle of the bands?
Sure. No, it was just like a talent show or something like that. So yeah, that was the first actual gig, I guess. And then aside from that, prior to that, when I was playing drums, there was a garage kind of band that I had played in, and he invited some friends over to watch us butcher "Pretty Woman" by Van Halen.
Oh, sick, man.
That
So sick. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I feel like the path that leads you to be like, a dad and still doing it had those seeds that were like, oh, this is like a really cool thing. How about your first I'm just trying to like chronologically follow this. So you're doing like cover bands, and then like your early 20s, were you doing band stuff, or was late 20s you said?
Early 20s. Okay, so then I got into I moved to Barrie. I started kind of recording myself, doing just trying to become a songwriter basically. And my dad got me this old Yamaha board, and then I would just hook up 2 cassette decks, or occasionally if I didn't have those, then like VCRs, and then I would just record the music onto the tape.
Wow.
And then track it back over with the guitar, and then the overdub, and then back over again.
Wow.
So I got into doing that first. Then I hooked up with a friend of mine who had been playing in bands around town for years, and his band had just split up, so he wanted to do something. So him and I put a band together called The Syndicate for a bit. That was mid-20s. And then another collaborative thing called Funnel Bucket, where we didn't have any music. We would just make it up as we go, like at a gig.
Oh, wow. Like improv shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we would do that, and then the Doris Day thing happened, and Foxjaws, and then this.
Wow. Did you guys tour? Like, what was who'd you tour with first?
No, Foxjaws.
Okay.
Foxjaws. We toured a bit.
Where'd you go?
We just out east.
Yeah.
And we went down to CMJ.
Okay.
We did
New York
CMJ
or
once.
whatever, I think.
Yeah.
I remember being in high school, and do you remember the band Chore from Dunville?
Yeah, the band name totally rings a bell.
They were like a Sonic Onion thing, and I grew up west of Thunder Bay, so there's this little town that's like, do you know where Kenora is?
Yes.
So if you go 2 hours south, that's where I grew up, this little town called Emo.
Okay.
And their booking agent somehow found us. We were some high school band. Anyways, so we threw a show for them. It was really cool, and we became good buddies. But I'm from a small town, and like, when I first played with them, it was a big deal that they were on Much Music. It was like, oh my God, we're playing with a band on Much Music.
Yeah.
And I remember they went down to, I think, so is CMJ in New York? Is it a New York thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like a showcase, kind of like South by type thing.
Exactly.
So I remember seeing that they were doing that and being just like, these guys are huge. They're a huge band. You
Yeah,
know?
they're going to New York.
I know, and they told, like, there was nobody there. And really, it should have been more crushing, because I was like, oh, really? Like, that's the reality of it? But it was still exciting for a little kid in a small town.
Well, yeah, for sure. Just the idea of going anywhere is insane.
Fuck. Did you, so that, like, first tour was out east. What do you remember from that first tour? What year is that?
Oh, man. So it was, by the time we got around to actually touring, further than, say, Guelph, Toronto, Kingston and stuff, and when we went out east, by that time, the band was kind of starting to disintegrate a bit, and there was a lot of personality conflicts and shit happening.
Yeah.
So I remember some good times, just kind of having fun, taking mushrooms and that kind of stuff. But there was some shitty stuff too, where we were just kind of like at each other, you know, and it wasn't fun. Eventually, all those things that were happening kind of led to the disintegration of the band. Eventually,
Was that, like, at that time, like, I feel like, I don't know what else you were doing, if you were pursuing a career or what, but I had a band that broke up, and it was terrifying, because it was like, oh, this is why, literally, I moved from where I grew up to here to do a band, and that band broke up, and it was scary, and like, when that disintegrated, what was going on, like, in your head?
So Brandon and myself, he was in that band with me.
Okay.
Him and I had already started goofing around, jamming stuff, and guys would get there late, or leave early. Him and I would just hang out, and at the time I was getting back into heavy stuff again, because I'd been off of it for a while. That whole Canadian indie thing that was going on there for a while. I kind of went down that wormhole for a bit, but I'd always really liked, the stuff that I was originally totally into, stuff like Melvins and, whatever, Jesus Lizard, bands like that. And then eventually kind of found my way back to that from a songwriting point of view. And then that started to sneak in to our jams that we were having. And then when the band disintegrated, we were just like, we had already played 1 or 2 gigs as Indian Handcrafts, and then we just kept going.
Okay.
So Brandon and I have been playing together since 2003.
Wow.
I think, or something like that. It's been a long time.
That's a long time, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel like a lot of us maybe have a few things going, and maybe that's sort of like a fail safe, like, just in case.
Yeah.
Because you can't really count on it. So you guys. So what was that? What was it? Doris Day? Sorry.
Yeah, Doris Day.
And like, what was that stuff? What was it like?
It was kind of I was really into like Joy Division, bands like that. You know what I mean? It was a lot of like guitar kind of playing against each other. I don't know. It's like whatever, indie.
Yeah, just under that umbrella.
Yeah, I don't know.
Were you guys like on a label and stuff? Like,
we did release. So the second album that we did, the full length, we released it on Novato Records.
Okay.
He was out of Brampton, and he had worked with Bass Lions, another band called the Paint Movement, and Yukon Blonde.
Okay.
Who went off to do
Yeah, I've
You
heard
know?
Yukon Blonde, but
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of, I think that was his flagship band that kind of,
okay.
got him going.
Did you like ever have a time where it was like, this isn't to say you're not doing it now, but like sort of an ignorant, like we're gonna make it type, we're really giving her type shit, or has it always been a fun thing? Like how serious was your most serious when you were younger, maybe?
As far as like trying to make it or something?
Yeah, like touring and we're gonna fucking that was me. I'm like, we're gonna fucking give her shit and we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah. For me, it's, I don't know, it's weird. It was always kind of like, if touring happens, that would be cool, but you don't really think that it's something you're going to do.
Huh.
Being up here, you're away from the city, and even like when you're starting bands up here, the fact of even just trying to play Toronto seems daunting. You know what I mean? It's like, how do we get into that market, with those people? And, so it was always just like, take it as it comes. And then just through a bunch of, a series of really good things, good luck, whatever happening, we just kind of kept rolling with the punches, and it just kind of went that way. But we never planned on, getting on, putting 2 albums out on a label or, working with the people we've worked with or doing the tours that we did. It just happened.
That's awesome. That almost makes it more enjoyable, I think. I feel... I don't know how many people are doing it for whatever reasons. I don't know, but I know some people are like, I like to call them careerists, where they're like really doing everything by the numbers and
Yep.
and trying, and it's like fucking super commendable. But it seems stressful too, because it's such a crapshoot, time and place.
Big time.
I was talking to someone about maybe Slipknot, I think, where them, like, they're an enormous fucking band, and it's ridiculous, kind of like they wear masks, but it's a time and place thing, like let's say they
Big
came
time.
out today, maybe it wouldn't have hit.
Yep.
So it's such a crapshoot. There's no real way to do it. I don't know. Did you have you ever like wanted to quit? You ever like get to a point where like, fuck all of this?
No, because I've never, I don't know. I'm kind of in it for the long game. You know what I mean? I don't really plan on ever stopping making music, even if, God forbid, but if, Brandon and I stop doing something, like, I'm still going to be doing stuff. And that's my plan. You know what I mean? I figure if you stay around long enough,
well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
No, I'm more and more on that tip, man. Like, we did like touring and trying to make it, but my biggest worry now is just like losing the ability to, like if my hands got chopped off or something crazy.
Right,
like that.
right, yeah, of course.
And I put a lot of stake in my happiness in music, but sometimes I question, like, maybe I put too much stake in it, because like it's super unlikely that it'll go to shit. But I don't know. I try to, like, I used to be like, it's such a part of my identity, but me and my other band, we kind of talked about that, where it's like, maybe that's unhealthy to have it be such a big part. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think about this shit, maybe not a lot, but enough to bring it up when I talk to other seasoned sort of music guys. Well,
for us, it was just a lot of luck of the draw. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for everything that happened, and if more stuff like that happened, cool. You know what I mean? But if it didn't, I'm gonna keep doing it anyways.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and you can nowadays more than ever, like, record and release shit, and like, I feel like nowadays you don't really even have to tour. You can like PR and like put out a good product and then kind of get the same return versus the tour itself. And everyone can tour now so easily, maybe too easily.
We actually just had a conversation with Toshi Kasai. He's going to record the next album that we're going to be doing in June, and we just kind of had the same conversation about, the idea of having to tour everywhere is not as important now as it was before because of all the online stuff and everything else. And plus with the kids and everything, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's really hard to try and make that work.
So, like, yeah, how will you turn down stuff? Like, how do you balance the I'm the band guy and I'm also like a fucking dad and an adult? Like, is it hard, or is it like you have a gig that's okay at home, or is it difficult?
I mean, it really depends on your wife.
Oh man, fucking rights, man.
Dude, you know, if she was like, "You're not doing it," then I'm not doing it.
So
You know
she's
what I mean?
super
It's
cool.
strictly online at that point.
Yeah. No, man. That's I think I have a lot of buddies. Well, I can't even say this. I don't know what people are living, but not a lot of my music buddies have kids, and it might
Yeah.
be for what I
Same.
don't know why, but you totally change gears. Obviously, like,
Yeah.
and that's for me. That was really terrifying. Like, whoa, got to change these gears. I've been this band guy for so long, and well, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So she's like super supportive, and
Yeah, she plays in a band as well too. So
who does she play with?
she plays in a band called the Rip Nancies.
Okay. You just released something, right, with them, the cover?
Yeah. So we did collaborative. Yeah, we did 2 covers with them.
Cool.
Just for something to do. We got a recording set up, so we're like, okay, let's put it to use and see what we can do.
So your basement there is like your studio? You have like...
Yeah, I got everything kind of
Can I see?
set up in here.
What am I on your phone?
Yeah, so it's just like this.
Sick.
Right?
Damn.
That's it. And then just this crap, and
The comp. Nice.
that's it.
And that's like fucking all you need, man. Shit.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah, you can pretty much, I mean, as far as the room, I'm learning how to fake it.
Whatever, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people do fake it, apparently. So
Do you guys... Because like, the band, like Indian Handcrafts, I've heard the name thrown around so many times, and I know you guys have done like some cool tours. Is it through a booking agent or
Yep.
Who you guys with?
So when we started out, we were with a fella named Z. He was through the agency group, and then they changed to United Talent.
Okay.
They merged with that. Like that merge all went down, and then that kind of fell apart, and then people left and everything else, and then we ended up moving over to Paquin.
Okay. I
And
never
we're
heard
dealing
that
with
one. Is that
Sarah Lit.
Sarah
Yes.
Lit?
Yeah.
Huh. Is it
Yes.
like do they handle all of it? Like let's say for example that Montreal gig, they're just hitting you guys up like here's what we got. Yes or
Yep.
no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they actually got a hold of me, and then I put them in touch with her.
Okay. That's kind of
That's how it
nice.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she does kind of the haggling or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's always got to be realistic, but they're trying to make a buck too. But at the same time, they're working to try and put you into other places and other markets and everything else. So
in the roster, like, are you guys like, where do you feel like you sit? Like,
I feel that with that stuff, I couldn't say on a personal level how she would feel about where her band sit or anything. I'd like to think, like she was kind of working us when United Talent was still around. So in a way, we're kind of OGs.
yeah.
But in another way, it's kind of like, the truth is just like, what is a band pushing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have current material out and press behind them? And if they do, they're making more money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's number one on so it's probably does this all the time.
Yeah. How busy are you guys? Like at your busiest, what was your busiest?
Our busiest, Christ, was when our first tour was our busiest.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
that? Like a fucking 2-year cycle or
No,
something?
no, it was only, I think it was like 2.5 months.
One
something
tour,
like that.
2.5 months?
Well, with a break in the middle.
How long was the
But-
break?
Was it 2.5 months? Or no, it wasn't 2.5
Oh,
months.
it could be. Shit.
Well,
Bands do that.
Well, it was a break, but it was like I don't know, maybe a month and a half. I don't know. I might be
Whatever.
off.
But a lot
But
of
yeah,
dates.
yeah, we got so our first tour, we got a gig through some contacts and friends of ours, opening for Billy Talent, Sum 41, and Colorado.
Fucking Christ, man. Was that like the biggest scale you had done to that point?
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
terrifying
we hadn't done
or
anything that big.
what was
Yeah,
that?
well, yeah, the first couple shows really sucked. You don't realize there's spots on a stage that size where you can't hear shit. You know what I mean?
That's a crazy. I've done like one gig like that, and yeah, it sucked because it was like, what do front of house monitor guy, like, I don't know, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So the first couple were rough, but was it? I don't know. How did you like adjust to that? Like, I'd like to one day play those type of gigs and get comfortable with them, but what was it like? What was that experience of a bigger fucking Sum 41 Billy Talent tour?
It's, I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, you're just going to a bigger venue. You got to get used to the idea, like all the weird curfews and stuff, and like there's blackout times on the stage where like no one can be up there because it's all union stuff.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
When they're setting up?
Yeah, so when they're setting up, and then they'll have a stop where there's like a hard cutoff, sound checks, everything else are finished, and then they just black the stage out. Like just stuff like that, where it's like, oh no, you can't be up there right now. I don't know.
They shoo you off like, shh.
Yeah, it's just like, you just kind of stay away from there. I don't know.
Huh.
It's weird. There's people to report to, if anything's going to happen. Just like any other tour, you would get a hold of the promoter or whoever. But in this circumstance, you would get a hold of the closing act's tour management. You know what I mean?
So you guys didn't have a tour manager on that first one?
A friend of ours, Andrew, came out and, was basically TM.
Yeah.
And driving and stuff. Yeah, huh. I'm the guy. So yeah, I don't know.
Were the drives like super gnarly, like overnight?
Yeah, they sucked.
3 p.m. load-in type shit.
Yeah, early load-ins all the time, and then the routing was really weird. Our first show was in Vancouver, so we had to drive to Vancouver, but play shows on the way out.
Okay.
Played some shows on the way out, and then so the first show was Vancouver, and then the second show was like Dawson's Creek,
like
which
north.
is like way north. You know what I mean? And then back down, and then it was like Edmonton, Calgary, and then it was like Fort McMurray. It was really weird.
Rough.
Yeah, it sucked. Sucked for my van.
It's like that Biggie song or Puffy song, More Money, More Problems. Like, yeah, I think about that. I have a few friends who've done like bigger stuff like that, and it's always like, that they have a tour bus and a driver for a reason. It's not to look cool. It's super functional. Like, I never thought of that.
Yeah, it was handy though. Like we signed on with Jaeger at that point, so they were kind of sponsoring us.
Okay.
So they made us a bunch of merch and everything else that we could just sell and keep the money for. And
they just they press it with like what did it look like? Did it bug you that it was like a brand on your band name, or just like it's money in your pocket?
It's just free stuff.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not a big Jaeger fan, but I mean they were super cool to us. So
yeah, are you still with them? Are they still
no?
I think? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they do things for bands anymore. I don't know.
I feel like
I see them at metal festivals.
Maybe that's it. They're strictly like
you'll probably see them at Heavy Montreal.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
they'll be there.
I'll be wearing all the swag. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah, totally.
The fuck was I gonna say? The Jaeger thing. Oh, I was gonna say it's like Scion. I think you guys did something with Scion. It's like what happened to Scion? Like they were doing like a festival and like just.
That's right.
I feel like it was like the CEO's like son. He was like, Dad, come on, man. Like, let me have a wing of this company. He's like, all right, fucking whatever. And he's pressing like 7 inches for his sick like bands.
Yeah, totally, man.
And so what did you guys do with them, with Scion?
So Scion had contacted Sargent House and then just asked if we would record a song to do a 7-inch with a show involved. And then they also put the festival on. There was a festival they were doing in Memphis.
Yeah.
And then if we would do that as well. So we were like, yeah, of course. And they copped the bill for everything. So,
crazy.
They flew us back down to Los Angeles to record and everything and play the gig. And that was it, man. And then it was awesome. And then we got so Toshi did that one as well. And then that album we got Buzz Osborne to play on. So he played guitar on it.
So I saw, did Buzz do something on one record and then, Dale did something on another record? Yeah,
so Dale and Cody were on the first record.
Okay.
And then Buzz was on the Scion thing.
So, how does that happen, man? Is it the Sargent House Connect? Did Sargent House put out your first? Toshi. He's like the producer. Who's Toshi?
Toshi is the he's the engineer / producer fella, and he worked hand in hand with the Melvins. Like he does all their stuff.
They have a studio, right? Like their own sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had worked with what was the band called? Red Sparrows.
Okay.
He'd worked with Red Sparrows, and then he was doing he did the Marriages album. Marriages was Gregory Burns and Emma Ruth Rundle's band.
Okay.
And Dave Clifford.
Okay.
And then he had done their album. So when we were down there, she was like, "Oh, well, who would you like to do the album or whatever? Like, have you thought about it or anything?" And I said, Toshi would be cool. Because big Melvins fan and stuff, and I like his work. And it hooked up, and that was it. She invited him over. He came over, and then that was that. And then that was kind of the connection into all that world.
What a trip.
So, for me, it was like Kiss got me into music, and then the Melvins kept me in music.
Huh. Man, we just referenced that with the Sabs that last weekend where might have been Buzz saying like, what's a question of like, what's the secret to success? He's like, just don't break up. Like, just be a band. Just like
Exactly.
stick
Stick
to
around.
it. Yeah. What was that like with recording with those guys, man? Like, for you, were you nervous or was it like?
We weren't actually there when they recorded their parts.
Okay.
So it was after the fact. But when we did the first album, we got to meet them and go to the rehearsal space and everything else. And it was extremely nerve-wracking because I'd been a huge fanboy for years and years and years. So it was, just like nervous and just that whole like, oh, I fucking hope I didn't say the wrong thing. Did I sound like an asshole? Did I say enough? Like, am I, or am I just kind of a coat hanger in the room? Like, you really overanalyze everything.
But it went okay.
Yeah, it went well. Yeah.
Met them.
And like, I mean, I don't know.
Crazy.
Well enough for him to play on it, and then did some shows and it's cool.
Wow. Do you like keep in touch with those guys, or was it like a?
Not so much. I mean, I don't know. It would. It's one of those things where it would maybe be weird.
Yeah.
To just send a text and be like, "Hey, how are you?"
Hello, Buzz.
Yeah. So it's like Toshi's kind of the in between guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he'll say things like, "Oh, Buzz says this" or whatever, and then we'll fire back, and it's kind of that. And then if they come up here, it's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And then regular conversation stuff and
that's
whatever.
Cool, though, man. Like your younger self would be so blown away.
Oh, fucking yeah! I would have been sick.
Jesus, man. That's cool. Those little like weird, not adventures, but just weird things that can happen like in the music sort of world. Like, oh, like that guy, like even, us, we were like, yeah, fucking Buzz was on the record. Like, what? How does that happen? These dudes from Barrie, like, crazy.
Yeah,
whatever,
crazy.
Man. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. So, and even the Sargent House thing, that was, like, how did that come to be? Like, old friends through the old band, or like?
No, so there was a girl, I should say a woman, whatever, Jen Hurst. She's amazing. And she came out to a gig. A friend of mine from Barrie was working at this place called Rodney's Oyster House in Toronto.
Okay.
And he knew Jen, I guess, in passing, and Ian from Billy Talent. And then he said, oh, hey, my friends are playing. You should come check them out. And it was one of our first few Toronto shows. We played, we were at the Alamo.
Okay.
And then they came out and checked us out. And then Jen was just like, hey, like, I've been out of the game for a while, but I want to work with you guys. She used to be, I think, A&R for Atlantic. Like, I think she's the one that got Billy Talent signed.
Oh, wow.
So she said she'd been out of it for a while, but she wanted to do something. I said, okay, whatever. Yeah, we're in.
Wow.
So she basically messaged some friends of hers and said, hey, listen, I've been out of the game for a while, but, I'm working with this band. Here's a video link, whatever. And then Kathy from Sargent House saw it, and she loved it. So she messaged her right away, like, who are they? What's going on with them? Blah, 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 blah. Come down here, like, let's stay for a couple days, talk things over. And
cool.
that was how that started.
And were you kind of like, I don't know, what was that experience like? Because that's pretty cool. Like, things popping off and, like, bigger things. Like, wow, I'm not used to this.
Well, it's surreal,
Yeah.
Like, even just the idea of going, like, I'd never been to Los Angeles before. So, I mean, the whole experience was kind of that, what you'd think, like, oh, we're going to go down and we're going to go eat and drink and we're going to go check out the rainbow. And
yeah. Holy fuck. Did you see Lemmy? Was Lemmy there? Was that his bar?
Apparently, if he's not, well, obviously not now, but at the time, it was just like, if he's not there, he's on tour. If he's home, he's there. But I guess he was on tour.
A quick little story about that. My buddy of mine was down there in LA, and they went there, and Lemmy was there. And he just like, man, can I get a photo? And Lemmy was like, yeah, sure. He took a photo. And then he fucked off, and they were drinking. And then later, like, I don't know, an hour later, my buddy went back to Lemmy like, hey, man, like, can we get a shot? And just cold-faced him like, I gave you my time. I'm playing darts. Just didn't answer him. Like,
oh, no way.
Which is like, hey, man, I'm sure 4 billion Heshers are like, hey, man, let's hang.
Yeah, totally.
Gave him his time.
Unreal.
So when was that you when did that whole relationship start?
2012, 2013.
Okay.
I think.
Are you guys still working with them? Because I think someone else is putting out the next thing. So
yeah, we just did we did 2 albums with them, but we recorded, put the album out and stuff like that. Did some touring, but just family constraints and stuff like that, kind of, I think that had a hand in, being like, okay, yeah, you know what, it's just not working out, like, because we can't get out there and promote it as much as they would have liked. And at the same time, she had mentioned, that, things were busy and just, she didn't really feel like, she had really given it the push that she could have. And it was just one of those kind of things where it made sense. I mean, everyone's still cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I think it's like a game of opportunities. You get an opportunity and then see where that goes. And yeah, as long as you're still a band at the end of it, right? Like it didn't break you up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I want to pick your brain a little bit. I always am fascinated by this. Like, I'm a drummer and I don't really curate songs, but you're a songwriter. You're putting VHS. Oh, you still there?
Yep.
Okay, it's frozen. Like your songwriting. I don't know. I want to talk about songwriting a little bit. Like your process. How much you scrap, how much you keep, if you have like a demo vault or what.
I've got a bunch of stuff that I've been logging more recently, and then instead of holding on to it, I'm just starting to put it out all the time.
Is that the colonizer stuff or no?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just any idea. I mean, there's no point in holding on to this stuff. I kind of look at it more like that, and even though it might not be handcraft stuff, just puke it out, get it over with, get it out, because it's doing no good sitting on my computer. And then as far as the writing process, it can be anything. If I think that it's something that's interests me enough that I actually want to work on it and finish it, it might not necessarily belong to this band, or it may. But, I always just generally start with a riff. Sometimes they can happen really quickly, where it's just like, okay, yeah, and then I can move to here, and then, maybe move, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of piecing together a puzzle, basically. You know what I mean? And then with the collaborative thing, it's more like, when we're coming into this stuff, it's more like building a house, where I'll come in and I'll say, okay, I have a foundation, and then let's all piece in how we think the song should go, ultimately, how it fits together. Rhythmically, whatever, pacing.
Yeah, like those are like, like things like, pacing and arrangements. I don't do it. Like I put my piece, obviously I fucking contribute, but I'm not the sort of soul like pulling from the ether. Like, here's an idea. Like, do you sit late at night? Like, is there a method to like routine, or is it just like when it hits you, you just write a riff?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really more that I'm not structured. Like, I don't sit down and go, okay, I'm going to do this. I find the only time that works is if, I don't know, like if I was to come down here and just pick up a guitar and say, I'm going to write a song. Messing around with tunings, sometimes that helps, you know, or anything like where you're playing a guitar that's not yours. I find sometimes like that's when things might come out.
That's interesting.
But aside from that, it's just if the idea strikes or you're feeling inspired, then go for it and run with it. I've had times when I've woken up, I've had something in my head, like especially when the baby was just born, and you'd have like a thing in your head, like, like a rhythm or something like that, or like a melody, then come downstairs and then I would just get my voice recorder and then, record it, or get the video and then take a picture of what I'm doing with my hands so I can remember things that way too. So that's been just lately though, because I've always not done that. And then you always forget it and you're like, oh, what was the thing I was thinking of? Fuck, man, I didn't record it.
It's great nowadays, like that you just pull your phone out and you can record it like that, right? Versus like, fuck, I gotta go plug into this thing and
oh yeah, big time. Or play it over and over and over and over and over again.
So it's still exciting to like. What's the biggest like? Obviously you're enthused about music, but is there a bummer you have? Would you rather be busier, or like, is it hard to be creative? Like, there's an up and down to everything. Like, I don't know, or maybe it's all gravy shit. I don't
know, man. I kind of think, in a really weird way, I kind of think that when things are supposed to happen, they're going to. And then outside of that, I mean, you could sit around, like I could sit around and get bummed and go, we're not on Sergeant House anymore or whatever. So like, what does that leave us? And yada, yada, yada. I mean, my head's gone there once or twice when that happened because, we had something and then we didn't have it anymore. But then, when you sit back and look at it, you think, well, really, I'm kind of in control of whatever's going to happen and how I'm at least going to feel about it. So that being said, I'm just going to stick with it, move forward, keep going. And if I want it to be more, then if the timing is right, then I'll make it more than it is, or it'll just happen by mistake. Or if I sit around and do nothing, then, game over. You're not doing anything.
Yeah. Would you be cool with just recording stuff and putting it online? Like, how much of the live performance is important to you?
I still really enjoy the live part of it. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't know. It's weird. The thing that I like most about playing shows is seeing other awesome bands and meeting people. You know what I mean? So I think that if I was to just record music, I would miss that really more than anything. It's just the community, more or less, of people.
Yeah, shit, that makes sense, man. I don't know what my future's gonna hold because like a kid and I need to work. I gotta figure out work and blah 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 blah. So it's like, would I be cool with the recording stuff and releasing it? Yeah, it's such a good point that the community and even like meeting you guys, like that's a nice little extra branch off. Like, oh, more cool people. Fuck.
Oh yeah, and same here, man. Like I loved all the bands that we played.
No kidding.
I've been listening to everybody for the last week. So, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no.
I thrive on that.
Well, you just don't. I don't know. I feel like a routine, and you have your family, but it can be lonely, like a normal sort of grind. This last weekend, I just did just 2 shows with my other band, and I saw, like, especially around home, there was a show, like a hometown show, and it's just like, wow, there's so many rad people. Like, I don't know, it was fantastic. I feel sad for some friends of mine who can't do it anymore for whatever reason. Like they quit, they don't want to do it anymore, and maybe that's fine. But it's like, shit, man. Like, I hope you're not alone. Like, yeah, just that. Like, just not seeing rad people and laughing about stupid handshakes that you made up that night or something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, for some people, it's just they're content with that. You know what I mean? Or some people just go, you know what? I've done my time.
Yeah.
And I'm out of that now. And I know a lot of people that have done that too, or they've moved on to start other things, businesses, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's all a part of it. But for some of us, we just don't know. We have to have it. It has to be there.
Yeah. And do you get bummed out? Like, what would bum you out after a set? Like, how bad does it have to be for you to be bummed out about it, or are you past that?
No, I'm still a little bit of a stickler for things and shows. So it has to go pretty off the rails to be bummed about a show. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, there's things that can happen that are just accidental, and then there are things that can probably, like even in the old band or stuff like that, things that can happen where it's just like that could have been avoided. But because Joe Blow, guitar player, didn't show up and yada, 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 and he hasn't been rehearsing. So, he threw the show right out the window. That can happen. And I don't like that because I'm not a big fan of laziness and then it impeding, what we're all striving for.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's like, I feel not so much striking when the iron's hot, but it's a 20, 30-minute opportunity, time slot that, the thing that there's hours, like you guys driving all that time, waiting, loading, and then it's like, okay, now we're going to do the thing. And if it's fucked up, it's like, I just wasted like so much time and energy and money sometimes.
Yeah. But then in that, what you hope is that there was a lesson in that so that you don't do that again next time.
Totally.
And if you keep doing it over and over and over and over again, well, then now you got ankle weights on.
Yeah, ankle weights, man. It like when I know we had a bad set, like something fucked up, and people are like, "Great set." It's almost like, "Don't lie to me. It wasn't a great set."
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the thing of being a musician, or I guess artist at all, is just that when you look at your own work, all you see is the zits, the odd hairs that aren't supposed to be there.
Totally, man.
This is how it goes.
It is how it goes. There's a few more things I wanted to touch on. It's bugging me. I can't see you. Fuck. It changes the whole vibe of this thing. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You can't see me?
It's just like it's frozen. It's probably on my end. Someone's probably on Netflix right now.
Weird.
It was about the band. I was gonna ask something. Well, I guess I can ask this because there's some people who are kind of gearheads. What's your gear? What's your setup? Your personal setup?
Right now, predominantly, I am playing the Marshall JCM 900. I've had that for years and years and years. I run that through a 412 Hughes and Kettner slant cab. Pedals. I used to split my signal when we were a two-piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have like kind of like a bass section and then my regular guitar section. I'm actually trying to gear back in towards that again.
Okay.
Having the extra amp for other tone.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm working towards that. When I have that going, then what I've got here is I've got a Trainer VC30 and then a single 15
Okay.
that I'll run into for the low tone. And then I just recently for recording picked up a PV Rage 108.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
Sick.
So yeah, that's the gear. And then for guitars, I've been predominantly Telecasters for the longest time, but I'm slowly really starting to love humbuckers now.
Okay.
So I'm borrowing a Gibson off of a friend right now, and I'm thinking of getting one permanently. I normally bring it to gigs sometimes and stuff like that, but when we were playing Montreal, I was like, I don't want a chance, something happening to it. So that's it. And then pedals, we got a Hillbish design, the Melvin's pedal they put out.
Okay.
And then I run that with a delay, a loop station, and then reverb, and then the one that'll go to the bass amp will run through a Pog left-hand Wrath, and then a separate delay for that one. So 2 different delays.
Okay.
Running through different amps.
The I guess a huge thing I didn't even ask about was the adding the other guy. How long were you guys a 2-piece, and how long now have you been a 3-piece?
3-piece since we put out that Bastard EP, so probably a year and a half maybe.
Okay.
As a 3-piece now. And then before that, yeah, just 2-piece the entire time.
Yeah, what was the thing? Like, I have a 2-piece band. It's just bass and drums, and we, kind of joking talk about adding a guitar player, but I know you've been asked, but I haven't heard the answer personally. So why?
Basically, honestly, it was, I don't know, just felt like time for a change, and I wanted to be able to open different things up on the guitar that I was very limited, before he came in the band, because I was basically playing all the bass lines. So, I get to be a guitar player again, basically.
Huh. And, was there any sort of thought of like, this changes the band? Like, we're a new band? Like, I know you're not, but...
to a degree.
Yeah, as another member, like, it's
another input.
band in a way.
Yeah. There's definitely, some other input now into the band, and, it comes in with some riffs too, and, so we're trying to basically navigate through that right now, because we're doing a bunch of writing before Toshi comes up. You know what I mean? So we're trying to figure out, okay, how does this work now that, we're all here? Because I'm used to being like the only guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon playing drums and that's it, right?
Yeah. Huh.
So it's interesting, but so far so good, man.
Well, it's why have rules? Like, it sounds like kind of cliche, but it's like, well, fuck it, like, why not? It's not like it's gonna change. It's not like you're on this massive label and you're stuck to something and you can't do that. It's like, well, we can if we want, and he seems rad as hell. So
yeah, man. Well, I take a lot of my cues from dudes like Melvins and shit. You just kind of do what you want. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they have not been the same band this entire time, but they have, because it's always Buzz and Dale.
Mm-hmm. That's a. Do you ever think about, like, the Melvins? I could attach the word like their legacy and their impact. Do you think about that with your music? Like, maybe, like, does that ever come into your mind? Like,
no,
the lasting power?
Maybe if we stick around long enough and get lucky a bunch of times. Lucky, yeah. And then unlucky, and then lucky, and then unlucky.
Someone, because I used to think, like, my music, and my son will hear it and he might have an opinion in it. But it's like, it's not really time. Like, people will forget about me and my band. I can't be so presumptuous to think like, people are always going to remember my band. And it kind of relieves the pressure I put on myself a bit, because it's like, yeah, like, don't overthink it. Don't worry about this set or like the perfect part on the record. Obviously care about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a pessimistic outlook. But what do you like? Your music? Do you just you're just doing it? Do you think about when you're old and what it might the records that people might spin? Do you think about that? Like when you're gone, what your music will mean?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I don't really know. I never really thought about that. Like, I think back in the day when there was way less bands, you know how we're hearing about all these B-level bands from the 70s now, like Leaf Hound and all these like stoner bands from back in the day, Pentagram, guys like that. I don't know if that'll be the same for all of us because there's so many of us.
No kidding. No kidding.
So, unless you stick around and just keep doing it, you might get lost in the shuffle, but
yeah,
who knows? But then again, there's bands that, you know, I'd never heard of Shallow, North Dakota before. But I knew Biff, you know what I mean? And I knew his other bands, you know, but now that's, you know, a thing that I'm listening to. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It is the idea of putting your music on something that can be, and especially digital now, like until the zombies take over or whatever, like it's kind of forever. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like to play with that idea. I feel like this should be a 420 episode. Like, you ever fucking think what your music means when you're dead, man?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I don't know. We're committing, like, you know, you commit an idea to on tape or whatever, and it's gonna be there for a long time. And
yeah, on the internet, it's always gonna be there, man.
Yeah, fuck, man. This conversation, man, fuck.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying with this other stuff. I'm just into the idea now of just like I'm not holding on to any material anymore. I just put it all out. Like,
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, man. Fuck, I get it, man. Like, yeah, why not? It's not. I don't know. It's not like you're really trying to impress anyone except yourself, right? Like self-serving. Like it should be that. It totally should be that.
Yeah, if other people like it, great. And if not, whatever.
If not, they're fucking idiots. They don't get it.
There you go. Don't understand me.
They don't get art, man. So yeah, man, I do these about this long, and then I do this hip-zine thing, which was it used to be my buddy had the zine where he just like, what's cool bands you listen to? And I used to get people to like suggest a cool band they listen to, which I could still ask you, but it makes more sense. Like, how about we just play a fucking track? Because some people might have never heard you guys. So, I was just because it's the most recent. I was gonna do the Live to Tell, or you could pick anything. Like, I don't know, what should I play? I could play that. I could play something
of our stuff.
Yeah, off a Bastard, or I don't know.
Oh man, I don't fucking know.
Putting you on the spot, but well, like we could do that. The Live to Tell.
I mean, that's
It's not quite like it is you guys, but it's not right.
Yeah.
Like, or I don't know.
I would say flip a coin between that or Bastard. That's the first thing we did with Leland.
Okay.
So that's our first 3-piece stuff. But mind you, with that, you're getting into a goddamn long song. So maybe find a small spot. And
I could play it. Fuck it, man. It's my show. I'll add a third bass player. I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'll do
your
that.
call.
Yeah, I'll do that, man. Like, because after the song, if people, you know, this is the first time on the episode. Basically, after the song, I just say bye, and people can check out your stuff. So maybe what we should do is just, people. It's indianhandcrafts.bandcamp.com.
Yep.
And is the homepage? Yeah, .ca.
Yep.
Indianhandcrafts.ca. So why don't I do that? I'll play Bastard. So that's the first thing you guys did as the 3-piece.
That's right. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'll put that in right here. That was Bastard by Indian Handcrafts. Editing, if you're still here, fucking rights. But so yeah, I guess what's next, man? What do you guys? So the record will come out. You guys are gonna do that in the fall? You said no. What'd you say?
Toshi's coming here June 1st.
Okay.
So we'll be recording here for about a week. And we're just going to record as much shit as we possibly can. And then once we're done that, basically follow it up with more shows. We've got a song that we're just in the process of mixing right now that we're going to put out before that. So hopefully sometime in the next few weeks. It's called Delete Me, tentatively.
Okay.
So we're going to do that. Record with Toshi. And then aside from that, we're talking about still trying to keep the Bastard stuff as a series.
Okay.
So that's all the stuff that we record without Toshi.
Okay.
And then the plan is to just keep writing. Keep
Cool.
writing and stick around until we're old and people hate us.
Old and iconic, bro.
Yeah.
Old, and then some like kid will stumble across a VHS or something like, and it'll be that same sort of cycle of some 5-year-old like, I saw these dudes and the dude had a, remember when RoboCop shot that dude in the dick?
Oh,
T-shirt.
yeah, dude.
I just, and like getting ready for this, I looked at that, I'm like, like I love it. It's just, yeah, not taking yourself too serious, right? It's like, we're just dudes. We're just like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, just like have fun, you know?
Yeah, and that
That's
was
it, man.
totally the vibe I got from you guys. It was great, man. But yeah, I'll wrap this up, man. But man, thanks, man, for doing this. It's nice that there's
Dude.
not a big PA and we're yelling over each other.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, man. That was a good time.
Yeah, and I'll try to keep tabs, and then if you guys are around, I'll pop out. We can have a beer and just kind of continue this, but sans microphones.
Absolutely. Let's do it again sometime,
Yeah.
even as far as the playing.
Yeah, man, fucking
That
right.
was fantastic.
It was great to meet you guys, and I don't know, have a good night, get some sleep.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll see you when I see you.
Talk to you soon.
All right, peace, buddy.
Cheers, man.
All right, cool. That was the episode, guys. Yeah, fucking these guys were so sweet when we met them. Right, like loading in, just like, hey, cheery, not like grumpy old men. Not that they're old men, but yeah, great dudes, great band. It was great to play with them a few weeks back. So let me shout out the sponsors here. These guys helped me get the show to you. Let me just pull it up here. Quickly, there's the Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. Go to twospentgrains.ca. That's TWO spentgrains.ca, and you can order your all natural pet treat. Heartbeathotsauce.com for your hot sauce. Don't be a chump. Support a rad dude making really great hot sauce. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. Special pricing when you mention the show on new vehicles. Ironcladgraphics.com. They can help you with silk screening your shirt and a bunch of other merch. Dapperbeardoil.com. If you want beard oil and you want to smell fresh and have your beard game on point, dapperbeardoil.com. Use promo code TAKERWIDE free ship and you'll get free shipping. And WellingtonBrewery.ca. They provided the beers. For this episode, I was sipping on the Upside IPA. Delicious. Yeah, it's a strong ale, but it doesn't taste like it's a crazy strong ale. Instagram is TakerWide Podcast. Homepage is TakerWide.com. Facebook page is TakerWide. Like it if you can. Those, they don't really mean anything, but it's, I don't know. It helps my ego. makes me feel like people are listening. And what else? We have the t-shirts. Just go to takerwide.com, click on merch, and you can order a shirt. If you guys are in 519 area, I can probably just drive it to you. And I think that is all. As always, fucking thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys have a really fucking rad week. Hope to see some of you. And I'll talk to you on next Monday with another rad guest. Okay? Be safe. Peace.